This conference will now be recorded.
Welcome to the Theratix training for printing labels using the specimen tracking system. This training is relevant for many ETCTN studies, NCI COVID, and the Moonshot Biobank 10323 study. My name is Melissa Minio, and I will be walking you through a short PowerPoint presentation as well as a demonstration. First, we will discuss the steps needed to create labels, how to print the labels using the print label form, the print output, the recommended product for labels, and lastly, a demonstration. There are 3 steps to complete so that labels can be generated. First, complete the histology and disease form. This form enables programming to function and should always be entered before the other specimen tracking information is completed. Second, complete the specimen tracking enrollment form. A row is needed for each specimen type, including differences in container. Lastly, complete the print labels form. Once the print labels form has been saved, labels will generate and you'll receive 2 emails. One will contain a PDF with the labels and one will contain a link to the PDF. Please note, sometimes there is a delay due to database table population. If the original PDF is lacking labels, wait about 5 minutes and open the email with the link. Clicking on the link, the PDF should be updated with the most recent labels. This is more likely to be an issue if you recently completed the specimen tracking enrollment form or if the number of labels was changed on the print labels form. Print the labels from the PDF either in your email or in your downloads folder. We highly recommend the use of the permanent cryo laser tag cryogenic labels for laser printers. The labels are 1/2 inch high by 1.28 inches wide. Each sheet has 126 labels in 6 columns. You will find a link to the labels on the print label form. If you happen to find a different label with the same dimensions, please feel free to use it. If a special purpose label printer is used, we do provide the option to print 1 label per page, in addition to multiple labels per page utilized by the recommended label. For additional assistance, there is a user guide for the specimen tracking system, as well as a user guide for the label printing process. As always, please feel free to reach out to the specimen tracking support team at sts.support@theratix.com with any questions. Now let's walk through the demonstration. The first step is to check that the histology and disease form in the enrollment folder has been completed. As previously stated, this form needs to be completed for the specimen tracking programming to work as expected. The form has been completed for this demonstration. Pay special attention that the SNOMED term code is populated. This field is required. If the form has not been completed, please fill it out before proceeding. Click the tab that states the patient ID at the top of the screen. This will take you back to the patient's main screen. From here, click the All Specimens folder. Step 2 is to complete the specimen tracking enrollment form. In NCI COVID, we open up to the specimen tracking enrollment form. In most other studies, you will open up to the specimen consent form. I will show you an example of this a little later. The first step is to enter the primary diagnosis disease group. It needs to be entered 1 time. Then you can add new log lines for each specimen that is collected. For the first row, click into the row or click the edit pencil at the right-hand side of the row. NCI COVID has the specimen category and type pre-populated since there's only one category and type of specimen collected. We will enter the time point and then the number of labels. The number of labels is not limited to what is needed for containers. Feel free to print additional labels for reports or other needs. Enter the total number of labels needed, and then click Save. Additional rows can be added by clicking the Add a New Log Line at the bottom of the table. I have added 2 rows for the same time point for blood collected in 2 different tube types. I'm going to click over to study 10382. It has our more standard setup. The All Specimens folder in the left-hand sidebar opens up to the specimen consent form. After completing the specimen consent form, you will need to select the specimen tracking enrollment from the left sidebar. Complete the primary diagnosis disease group and complete a row for each sample. I have completed the form for the first sample. We'll add a new log line and we'll select a different time point. You will need to select the appropriate category and type of specimen. Items in red are required. We will go back to NCI COVID now. We will open the Print Labels form, which is also found in the All Specimens folder. Please notice the yellow highlighted note at the top of the screen. This note has a link to the product we recommend for labels. Each time you print, complete the label layout. Select either one label per page or multiple. If this field is not populated, the label printing will not function. In the available protocol time points, you will have a drop-down with time points that were selected on the specimen tracking enrollment form. Selecting a time point will select all the samples for that time point for printing. If only one time point was entered on the specimen tracking enrollment, such as our example here, you could select the time point and all of the labels would print. The table below allows more pinpointed selection. You can select one or more of the rows to print. There are 2 ways to do this. You can select the edit pencil at the top of the screen to open all of the data points, or you can select the edit pencil at the end of the rows to open the corresponding row. Once the data points are opened, you can select a checkbox to select the row for printing. Always click Save to print the labels. Over in 10382, we added 2 time points. Let's open the print labels form. Select a label layout. And here we can see both time points are entered. We can select one at a time. In order to select all of the labels, you would need to use the rows below. You will receive 2 emails in your inbox. One has the PDF attached with the selected labels. The other has the link. When the link is clicked, the PDF will be downloaded into your downloads folder on your computer. As stated earlier, use this link if changes were made on the print labels form and labels did not display on the initial PDF. You will receive another email with the PDF attached for this set of labels. This concludes the label printing training. Please reach out to us at sts.support@theradex.com with any questions. Thank you.